Protected. And we've got Carlos Molina here, a legal immigrant from Colombia originally, right? Or I mean, Ecuador, not Nicaragua.
The lawyer just called me really quick. He's inside, so no. Stay on. I'm gonna call him back really quick and give you guys an update. But just
right, well,
excuse myself for a minute.
Come up and tell your.
So Carlos, and actually before that, we've got Angie here.
Talk to Angie first, so she can.
So tell us your story and tell us what you think when Gavin Newsom says that America is welcome to everybody, that it's sanctuary for all, yet he arrests American citizens on his lawn. Tell what happened to your son for a second.
My son Ruben was 13 and on the streets of Salinas by an illegal immigrant that happened to be in gangs. And for my family, it's been a nightmare. Ruben wasn't in gangs, and this guy just grabbed my baby and shot him in the back of the head, point blank. And they didn't care. He ran back to Mexico after he killed my son. It took 4 years to finally, America's Most Wanted did his story, and they found out where he was exactly, and they went into Mexico and put a warrant for his arrest, and within, I would say 5 months, he was arrested and served 20 years in a Mexican state prison for my son's death. So it's been hard for my family. I mean, we've been separated for life. He was my baby, and it's like one minute he walks out the door, the next minute you're running to the hospital because somebody shot your baby. And there's not a thing you can do about it. It changes your life forever.
And it was your baby was shot by a person that was here illegally.
A gang member that was here in the country illegally. Yes.
From Mexico.
From Mexico. When he ran back to Mexico, he went back to the state of Jalisco, where he was from, and that's where they were hiding him until the Foreign Prosecution Unit went out there and picked him up.
So they did get him.
They did get him. He served 20 years.
Wow. See, most people, a lot of times, they don't even find him, or they just flee the country.
The Lord has blessed me in so many ways, and that was one of my biggest blessings. First, being on America's Most Wanted, and then them actually catching him and serving the 20 years in the Mexican state.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing for you to say. You're blessed.
Yeah.
Because I mean it breaks my heart.
I know.
What do you say to Gavin Newsom and to the Democrats who say there's no crisis, that this is all humanitarian, that all these people are just coming here for they're escaping for asylum and all this? What's your message to the politicians?
Shame on you. Shame on you for giving up on the American people. We're here still, and you need to be fighting for us, not for the
That's
illegals.
right. That's right.
Exactly. You know, you bring these people into our communities, my communities, where my son was playing, where my son was walking with his friends. You brought him in here. Shame on you.
This is my friend
Because
Angie
of you,
Morphine
I don't have my
from
baby
Salinas.
anymore. And I have to live with this sentence for the rest of my life. These people do not have a right to be here, and they should come in the right way. Nobody's saying that they shouldn't come, but you're putting it in my community, and I want the community to be safe. I'm scared for my other children, and I'm scared for my grandchildren, because I don't see a future for them if you keep bringing in all these people. They're taking my children's education and everything that belongs to them, not your family. Your families are behind closed door and gated communities. These are my family that is being affected.
Absolutely.
We love you, Angie. We're here with you.
I
This
love all
is
you
Angie.
guys.
And it's a shame because Gavin Newsom should be here too, right? I'm so sick
He's
and
in El
tired.
Salvador.
I know. I'm so sick and tired of hearing about the plight of illegal aliens and the mothers who are being separated from their children in El Salvador and Mexico. What about the mothers who are being separated
That's
from their
right, for
children
life.
for life? All right, we're not talking about for 5 minutes in a detention center while they, go separate the children and then talk to the parents who hopped over illegally. We're talking about lifelong separations because illegal
Permanent
aliens who
family
are not supposed to be
separation,
here in this country have murdered innocent children and innocent people who are forever separated from their family members. I've never heard Gavin Newsom or Nancy Pelosi talk about that. I've never heard them talk about those parents who are separated from their children. Ever.
Right.
And I'm just tired of it.
Right.
It's honestly
no, you're right. You're right. They
people in
never
California need
talk
to be
about
uprising.
it. They never talk about it.
They need to rise up and protest because it's unacceptable. And you think all this stuff is free? I mean, your average person really just has no idea, no concept as to how these things are paid for. This is all being paid for by the California taxpayer. And every single year in California, it costs the state of California, over $23 billion, the price of illegal immigration here. And you know what Gavin Newsom wanted to do the first day that he was sworn in as governor of California?
Give more to illegals.
He wanted to sign a bill that would have given free health care to every single illegal alien. Not every single hardworking, legal California taxpayer or resident. No. He only wanted to give health care to every single illegal alien, and that proposition would have bankrupted the state of California.
Think about this. That same day, I objected to his being sworn in because he's already broken his oath.
Yeah, and you were on Rush Limbaugh. It was great.
I was removed. I was deported from that
You were
event.
deported.
Right.
I was taken outside the barriers.
Right.
And the exact same day, his first order of business is to break his oath again by providing resources to illegal aliens who have no right to it.
And here's, what's very interesting is Canada's thought of as our nicer neighbor to the north, but if we walk across the border into Canada without permission, it's very simple. You get a $5,000 fine that you either pay on the spot or you don't, and you get sent right out. Meanwhile here, the red carpet is rolled out. You get to just say, asylum, and they have little pamphlets of what exactly you're supposed to read when you show up. And if you don't get your asylum, now you get to appeal it.
Yeah.
So you can jam up the courts
forever,
indefinitely. You can jam up the courts for 30 years if need be. Meanwhile,
or 90% of them just don't show up. So
well,
you're saying,
and there's even stricter rules for Americans on U.S. soil. If you recall from my video when I went to Casa de Nancy, I actually went to Otay Mesa and went to the area of the fence where it just ends and it's open. And we weren't supposed to do that, right? Like we definitely went off-road and we were not supposed to go in that area. You're not supposed to take a car
unless you're
and go
illegal.
there.
Unless
you're illegal, right? And there was a point in the video when we were actually trailed by Border Patrol and stopped, and he was so pissed off. He was furious with us because he said, "You're not supposed to be here." We're like, "What do you mean? I thought it was a sanctuary state." And we were kind of busting his balls, and he was getting so pissed off because I said, "What do you mean? I thought California was open border sanctuary state." And obviously I was just joking and being sarcastic, but this is the reality, right? So how do you tell a border officer? Or how does a border officer tell an American citizen, "Oh, you're not supposed to be here, you're not allowed to be, this is federal land, you're not supposed to be here, you need to leave now"? Well, then how does that work when you have politicians who are saying everyone's welcome, come in?
Right.
So it creates a problem and a dilemma for law enforcement agencies who are supposed to be upholding the rule of the land and abiding by the United States Constitution and our immigration laws, when you have governors and politicians who are unanimously in favor of going against what they have to do in their daily obligations as custom border enforcement.
The other problem is this fake data, and that's what it is. It's like fake news. It's fake data, and you see these statistics that illegals commit less crime on average than Americans.
Yeah.
All of these statistics are 100% fake. They're put out by groups like the Cato Institute. They're put out by groups like the Brookings Institute, which is backed by Qatar, interestingly. And they're 100% fake statistics. All you have to do is go into a local jail visit anywhere in the southwestern United States and other parts of the country. Go visit the jail. It's public property. Walk in and have them give you a tour. Or go visit Skid Row in downtown Los Angeles, and you'll figure out in about 5 seconds flat that these statistics are fake and that there is a crime wave coming from the southern border like nothing we've ever seen before.
And when you actually look at this actual statistics, they always say immigrants commit less crimes. Well, when you separate out legal immigrants, that's actually true. Legal immigrants commit far less crimes.
They figure I'm on a short leash, I don't want to screw this up. But illegal immigrants don't care.
Yes, there's a study done in Arizona, and each crime is different, but on violent crimes, it's like 3 to 4 times the number of that illegals commit versus American citizens. And all you have to do is look at our jails. Per capita. Yes. Per capita. All you have to do is look at our jails. They say illegals make up 9% of our population, but they make up 25% of our incarcerations.
And I think that number is even low. Yeah,
I think it's low. I agree, because a lot of it goes unreported. So the ones that are actually here, they don't. It's insane. It's insane. I want Carlos to jump in here. So Carlos is a legal immigrant from Nicaragua. What do you say as a guy who came escaping the corruption and that you had down there? What do you say to Gavin Newsom and these criminals?
Well, not to the Gavin Newsom, because he knows what he's doing. he's only asking. He's looking for voters.
That's
what
right.
he wants. He's looking for people
All
that
about
are
the
going to be
vote.
voting for him. It's for the American people. Wake up. You know, this communist idea that they're trying to bring in, because that's the ultimate goal. It will fail. Has failed everywhere it's been. I grew up in it, and I tell you, it will fail. And that's what they're trying to do: is overwhelm the cities and packed and jam with people that would vote, vote for them.
That's all.
That's why they give freebies, because then, don't vote the Republicans, because the evil man is going to take away your freebies.
You know, I spent
That's what they do.
8 weeks in Nicaragua once doing a service trip when I was in high school, and I don't think people understand just the poverty rate and the violence that a lot of people are subjected to, and how dangerous some of the gangs in Central and South America are. And these are people who are coming over illegally. They're bringing drugs. They're trafficking in human beings. Just tell us. You said you're from Nicaragua. Tell us some of the gangs that come from Central America and some of the activities that these people do in these countries and what they do. Because I don't think people really understand how brutal it is, right? How brutal these practices are.
The predominant in the gang is MS-13.
Yes.
They have taken over the whole Central America. I don't think the only place where they haven't taken is Panama, because then
Right.
they're messing into Colombian territory. But it is MS-13, the ruling mafia right there. They haven't been able to take over Nicaragua, because the communist government deals with them very, very peacefully. They send the military out and get them shot. But they 4 years ago, if you guys remember, 4 or 5 years ago, we had a Madison and Watt. We had a case that they had, I think it's about 30 young ladies that they had, human trafficking, between ages of 12 to 14 years old. They didn't came through here to Southwest or American Airlines. They came here to the border. It's not just illegal
Right.
immigration. You're looking at
Right.
if the young lady is pretty enough, they'll end up here. If
Yeah.
not, they'll end up as mules, and once they're used up,
They murder them.
they'll literally open them up and
kill them.
take out the organs.
Right, and I don't think people understand this. So when you see the Democrats trying to demonize and villainize President Donald Trump and the Republicans for being against illegal immigration and wanting a wall, first of all, we are the humanitarians. Conservatives are the humanitarians, because the Democrats are, by refusing a wall and trying to oppose every single effort to protect our border, they're actually putting people at risk. You know what they do to women? And for those of you who don't know what a mule is a woman who is used by cartels. They usually find really attractive girls, who are, between 15 or sometimes in their 20s, and they have the women swallow packages of drugs, okay? Or what they do is they give them implants. So they'll have these chop shop doctors who open the women up, and they fill their implants with heroin or cocaine or some other type of substance. And then they say, oh, you're going to get a wonderful life in America. You're going to be there. You're going to be free. You're going to be able to have a family. You have a job. And you know what they do to these women? They have them go to hotels or some facility. They meet them. They open them up. And they don't even put them back together. They let these women die. And so all around the country, and the media doesn't really talk about this, women are found with their breasts sliced open, their stomachs, their organs taken out, and they just leave them there to die. They don't even do it with anesthesia. They drug these women, they knock them out, and they kill them, and they let them bleed out, or sometimes they sew them back together, and then they get infections, and they end up dying.
And this is the kind of lawlessness and bedlam that's just spreading up from the border. And people can debate the war on drugs, but the bottom line is you do have a drug problem in this country when 72,000 people a year are dying or overdosing, and that's a low estimate, more than the Vietnam War in one single year. That was 2017. We haven't gotten the 18 numbers yet. There is a drug problem. All of the drugs are coming from south of the border. There are a few exceptions where you get a package of fentanyl here or there from China, but all of the drugs are coming from the southern border, 100%, 99.9%. And until you have a wall, a massive, impenetrable wall, and total security of the southern border, this is going to continue. Right. And people are going to keep dying, and people can debate this. But if there's no heroin overdoses, and all the heroin's coming up.
And also, another thing as well, right? I think that if these Democrat politicians and people like Gavin Newsom and Nancy Pelosi are going to oppose border security and oppose a wall, and we have to suffer, we have to lose loved ones to drug overdoses, we have to lose loved ones to violent crimes or driving accidents committed by illegal aliens, then I think that we should start shipping these people to their lawn. That's what I did with Ben. We actually delivered some poop and needles representative of the epidemic that Gavin Newsom has plagued California with, and we put it on his lawn at the California governor's mansion. We found real illegal aliens, one of whom had a criminal record from Mexico, and put them on Nancy Pelosi's lawn, and we took them up to her front door and tried to open her door on video so she could see what it was like. And what do you know? Nancy Pelosi locks her doors and had security take us, literally deport us from her lawn. So I'm calling on all Americans.
She's a total bigot.
I'm calling on all Americans to start bringing illegal aliens to the home of elected Democrats who oppose border security. And if they don't like it, too damn bad. We're going to have to import the whole damn caravan onto their lawn until they give us the wall.
This is what I want to see. That on the wall that we have now, I would like to see Nancy Pelosi's face and her address listed, and it says, "You're welcome
11
here."
Zinfandel Lane, for those of
11
you who want to
Zinfandel
know.
Lane.
11 Zinfandel Lane, Napa Valley, California.
Gavin Newsom's
Show up.
face,
You can hop
address,
over her fence, California
his
governor's mansion.
his Fair Oaks new house, because he moved to Fair Oaks because the fence wasn't tall enough here
Right, but
to
apparently,
protect his family.
according to the police officers, because mind you, when Ben and I got arrested at the California governor's mansion, you don't understand. Like, we were inside the room in cuffs, and we had officers while we were cuffed come up and say, "I follow you guys on Facebook. I follow you on Instagram. I love you. You guys are
They
so
were
funny."
chanting, "Build the
They
wall."
were chanting, "Build the wall," while we were getting our mugshots in the Sacramento County jail,
It's
which,
sad.
mind you, is also one of the top 3 worst jails in America. So,
Yeah, it was pretty bad. I can't fault
yeah,
that.
it was
Quick, though,
really.
I'd like to add that we did do theatrical props, so it was done as a political demonstration.
Yeah, it was a
as
political
opposed to a
demonstration,
crime. Yeah.
and it's not like we were. And the needles didn't have drugs; they were capped. It's not like we were exposing anyone to needles; they were
You could
capped.
have ate the feces
Yeah,
because
and
they
the,
were brownies.
and the feces was actually brownies, right? And so it's not like we were actually
No, but
committing
in the
any real
future,
crime.
that kind of cultural appropriation will land you with a hate crime charge. I think.
Right, but people.
Well, yeah, wearing the poncho.
First of all,
and
when we did this video,
sombrero.
the Democrats were more upset that we donned a poncho and a sombrero
Yes.
than they were about the fact that I used real footage in my documentary piece on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/LauraLoomer, of homeless people shooting up drugs on the sidewalk. That was real footage that was filmed here in California of the tents and all of the destruction caused by the Democrat Party here, okay? So it's not like this was photoshopped. It's not like those were actors. That was real footage, and Democrats were more angry. I believe Newsweek wrote an article about how I was racist because I used a poncho and a sombrero as opposed to the fact that needles. There are children who are getting pricked with needles, probably with HIV. There are people stepping in contaminated feces while they walk to work in California
that's not a
because
problem.
of the Democrats.
That's
They're
not-
more
but
concerned
us
about
wearing a
their
poncho.
image. They're
Yes.
more concerned about their image
Well, what's-
than the actual message that you guys were
What's
pushing.
crazy is the reason we have feces and needles in San Francisco is because of policies of Gavin Newsom and the Democrats.
Right.
They have invited this. The sanctuary policies that are killing Americans
Right.
are invited by the Democrats, but they're not held accountable.
They can blame, rent prices and gentrification. The reality is, you've got a massive drug problem, total lawlessness, flowing into the country from south of the border. Everyone knows it. Any cop that you talk to, any DA that you talk to, anybody who knows what they're talking about will tell you that there is a drug problem in San Francisco. There's a drug problem in Los Angeles. The problem comes from south of the border. There's just no two ways about it.
And it doesn't discriminate either, okay? It doesn't discriminate against people who have money or people who are poor. There are many people, especially in the middle class, who have lost loved ones to illegal aliens. There are many people in low-income communities and black communities, Hispanic communities that are being overridden with gangs, and they are losing loved ones. There are wealthy individuals as well who like to mess around with recreational drug use. And I know someone in Florida actually who lost a loved one while they were using cocaine recreationally, and the cocaine was laced with fentanyl, and they died. Right, and this is a person who was well off. Right, this doesn't just discriminate against people who come from low-income households. It doesn't just affect people in the Latino or the black community. This is affecting all Americans. So if you think that it can't happen to you, you're wrong. You're wrong. There's an opioid crisis in this country, right? And all of this stuff is coming from the border, right? It affects very well-known people. Eric Bolling's son died from this. So it's not just happening to no-name individuals or unknown individuals. This is affecting a lot of people
And
in America.
in Los Angeles now, they're saying as much as 80% of the car crashes that are taking place in Los Angeles are hit and runs. This is because you have illegals that are not licensed who are driving cars. You know, sometimes they knock off your rear view mirror, other times your car's completely destroyed, sometimes you're injured, and they hit the road and you never see it.
Ironically, now since we've given driver's licenses to illegals, so the Democrats a few years ago came along and said it'll make the roads safer.
Yeah,
Our
how
roads
does
will
that
be
make the roads
safer.
safer?
We have over 1 million illegals in California now that have driver's licenses who are really just designed to vote. We have the motor voter laws,
Right.
but if
I
you
thought
look
we
at
didn't need ID to vote, so
right,
what's the point? Right?
well, no,
I mean,
but
this
you're
is the
automatically
absurdity of it.
registered
You're
as
automatically
if you
registered.
have a driver's license in California.
And then if you forget to, in California, if you forget to go out to the voting place, they registered you automatically, but you're really not into it, doesn't matter. The Democrat operatives will come pound on your door and do ballot harvesting and pick up your ballot, even if you forgot to go send it in and vote.
But back to the point of the safer roads, since they gave driver's licenses to illegals, vehicular-related homicides have gone up 19% in California.
Wow. Right.
19%.
Take the same
So
population.
it's done the exact opposite. It's had the exact opposite effect.
Right.
All you've done is allowed lawless people to get away with crimes,
Get
and
away
they
with
feel like
crimes.
they're safe in America, in
Feel like they're
California.
invincible. They are
just
safe.
have
They're
to get
invincible.
Angie is, you know, and here she is, just like myself.
Citizen now get hit by by illegal alien and name fixed issues, address fixed issues, and
What do you do?
go after?
What do you do? What do you do? They just they
and then,
they move off into the shadows, and then you're stuck dealing with
And I
it.
tell you also, they give all this giving a preference to illegals. How do you think American kids, they're dreamers too?
Yeah.
My daughter was, had perfect grades. She had everything she needed to be accepted here at UC Sacramento. She applied, and that year when she was supposed to be taken in, she was told there was no room for her.
Right.
And the reason why it was because there were 300 seats set aside for dreamers.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the daughter of an immigrant that served 21 years in the military and is a wounded veteran could not go to college. I mean, university.
300 illegals.
That
But
is
300
despicable. That
illegals
is
It is
100%.
despicable. And
And
that's
also
the
on
thing.
top
It's
of
like,
let me say this.
what the hell?
Also on top of that, there's colleges in the state of California that's encouraging illegals to come to get a 4-year, fully paid college tuition.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't even realize that. So what happened to his daughter, is horrible, and what they're doing to the rest of the people in this state is absolutely horrible. People don't realize how bad this is. We're doing a video, we're talking about it, we're talking about all the different issues, we're talking about when you got arrested, but people in this country don't realize how bad this really is. With Gavin Newsom leaving the country
Right.
to encourage more people to come here illegally,
All about the vote.
that
Oh,
should
yeah,
be a wake-up call to everybody. He's
Yeah.
more concerned about illegals bringing them to the country than he is about the people in California.
You look at these celebrities who allegedly engaged in some kind of sleazy scheme to get their kids into colleges.
They're in court today, too.
The FBI got wiretaps and search warrants and SWAT teams and guns drawn because God forbid these kids go to college involved in some scheme. Meanwhile, if you're an illegal alien, fake your transcripts, you're not even supposed to be here in the first place. They roll out the red carpet, all expense paid. Your housing, your car, your food,
Right.
your tuition, your books, it's all paid for. And
Yet
don't
if
worry
you want
about
to
the
come
FBI.
from Nevada into California, you have to pay out-of-state tuition.
But look, these are
But you come from
Democrats. These are
it's
Democrat people.
crazy.
Like these people who got wrapped up in this scheme, they're all Democrats. And so, mind you, like you have people who have more money than you will probably ever have in your life. They have political influence, they have fame, they have money, they have power. Their kids are already at an advantage, right? And the first person I can think of is somebody like Alyssa Milano. And then she's using her resources as well to advocate for these dreamer students, these illegal aliens who are here. What about your children's dreams? How do your kids, how does the average middle-class American mother or father sit their kid down and look them in the eye and say, you know what? It doesn't matter if you work hard. It doesn't matter if you go to school and you get good grades. It doesn't matter if you don't have a criminal record. If you have dreams, you're never going to make it because this person is an illegal alien and they matter more than you. We used to have an American dream in this country. We used to have this concept of the American dream where if you worked hard, it didn't matter if you were poor, if you were rich, if you were middle class. It didn't matter what you had. As long as you work hard, you can accomplish your dreams.
Time.
Is it time?
No, I just got great news for us.
Oh,
So.
what's
Hang on,
that?
hang on.
There we have.
Hang on.
Great news.
Hang on. So we're here live at Sacramento Superior Court. Again, I'm here with Laura Loomer. We were charged with misdemeanor trespassing for crossing over Gavin's fence, our fence, the people's fence,
At the California
at the
Governor's Mansion.
California Governor's Mansion, while illegals are allowed to trespass into our country. Now, our attorney, David, thank you, sir.
David
You just-
Wall.
Absolutely,
David
Ben.
Wall, you said you've got great
Well,
news.
got
or-
great news. We're going to end up getting these charges dismissed.
Oh,
So we found an eminently reasonable prosecutor, outstanding guy, who,
Great.
despite the fact that Gavin Newsom wanted you thrown in jail, he's going to end up dismissing the charges.
Wow, Gavin wanted us in
So,
jail.
yeah.
Great.
Yep. That's,
Amen.
How long did Gavin want us in jail for? Did they say what we were facing?
David.
I think you want 15 to life. But,
They want me locked up forever.
yeah, so we're very happy with it. And this DA's office is really good. They're really good people,
Great.
really reasonable people, which I have found in other cases as well. So we're very happy about that.
Wonderful.
And freedom of speech lives. The First Amendment lives. And it's not Venezuela. You don't get tossed in the slammer for protesting. Well, actually, they did, didn't they?
Yeah, we did.
You know what?
We did.
But
We spent 4 hours.
fortunately, the lawyers that represent the county disagree with that, and they're outstanding people, and we're very
Great.
happy.
Great.
Very
So
happy.
the
So,
charges are
so
gonna
the
be
question is,
dismissed?
do we go back there right now, or do you recommend waiting
Well, we
a
got to
few,
go into
few
court
minutes?
and take care of the
Okay, we still have to go back in there?
We have to go in and take
Okay.
care of some minor details, but
Okay.
yeah, it'll be taken care of.
Great.
Well,
So
thank
our
you, sir.
charges are being dismissed, you guys. That's wonderful. That's really great news. It's a victory for immigration, and it's a victory, legal immigration, and it's a victory for the American people. So,
Yes.
Great. Well, thank you.
Absolutely.
All
So,
right.
Okay, well-
the person who takes care of that won't be in for another half hour. So.
All right, so we'll just be out here.
Yeah,
So
that's good.
great news, guys.
Thank you. Hey,
Great
thank you,
news.
sir.
Spread the word on social media. Spread the word on social media. Spread
Mission
the word. All
complete.
charges are going to be dropped.
Going to the Gavin.
Yeah.
We're not going to have to spend another day on one of America's top green Christians.
That doesn't
Message
hurt
for
my
Gavin,
feelings.
Laura.
Hold on, guys. We're going to get this set
My
up on
producer
the.
put it back up on the screen so everyone
the,
can see the video footage from when they
Yeah,
were
put it
getting
on for me.
arrested.
All
I
right.
don't know if it's going to fit.
All right, guys. So we
Then
just
all
we
the
just got
charges
word.
were
That's great
just
news.
dropped.
Yeah.
We're here now. The sad thing
Absolutely
is that it
good
came to
news.
this point that we didn't
We
have
were
to show
kind of
up at court.
suspecting that they were going to drop the
Wait, hold on.
charges.
I'll go on the selfie mode really quick.
But their lawyer just said that he mentioned
Hey guys,
our country.
we're here.
We,
So,
the
as you just
Democrats
heard
and Gavin
from my attorney David Wool, the charges, the trespassing charges, misdemeanor trespassing charges against me and Ben Bergquams from
just got word
America are being dismissed.